Zastrzeżenie. Informacje i materiały edukacyjne zawarte w niniejszym dokumencie mają na celu promowanie ogólnego rozumienia i dialogu na temat przetwarzania informacji przez GANS. Nie są one przeznaczone ani nie powinny być traktowane jako substytut klinicznego szkolenia, doświadczenia lub osądu profesjonalisty w dziedzinie opieki zdrowotnej. Dla pacjentów i osób indywidualnych informacje te nie zastępują profesjonalnej porady medycznej, terapeutycznej ani opieki zdrowotnej. Nie mogą one być podstawą do podejmowania decyzji dotyczących leków ani innych metod leczenia. Czytelnicy, widzowie i słuchacze powinni zawsze skonsultować się ze swoim lekarzem, a w poważnych przypadkach natychmiast szukać pomocy u służb ratunkowych. Informacje dotyczące recept, procedur oraz stosowania urządzeń medycznych powinny być wykorzystywane wyłącznie przez odpowiednio przeszkolony i certyfikowany personel medyczny. Zastrzegamy sobie wszelkie gwarancje, zarówno wyraźne, jak i domniemane, w tym domniemanie gwarancje przydatności handlowej lub przydatności do określonego celu. Informacje są udostępniane tak, jak są i uważa się je za dokładne w momencie publikacji. Jednak to odbiorca jest odpowiedzialny za ocenę ich prawdziwości. Każdy przedstawiony przypadek dotyczy wyłącznie osoby, która go doświadczyła i nie ma zastosowania do innych osób. Każda osoba mająca problemy zdrowotne powinna zasięgnąć profesjonalnej porady medycznej i skonsultować swoje leczenie z lekarzem. Opisane tutaj procesy balansowania plazmy są naturalnym procesem wspierającym organizm, ale nie zastępują porady lekarskiej ani terapii, którym dana osoba już podlega. Zastrzeżenie. To jest moje prywatne zastrzeżenie, w którym chcę ująć parę wątków. Nie jestem przedstawicielem Fundacji Keshe, a jedynie poszukiwaczem wiedzy, tak jak każdy z nas. W żaden sposób, prowadząc ten program, nie jestem związany z Fundacją Keshe, nie występuję w jej imieniu. Jestem po prostu gospodarzem samego spotkania, z zamiłowania i chęci podzielenia się tak wielką wiedzą i jej pięknem, które każdy z nas posiada na tak wiele różnych sposobów. Wszelkie tłumaczenia są naszą interpretacją tego, co rozumiemy z wątków tłumaczonych. I jakakolwiek moja prywatna działalność jest jedynie moją osobistą formą zrozumienia wiedzy dzielonej przez Fundację Keshe i nie ma, jak i nie powinna mieć żadnego wpływu na interpretację Twoją lub działalność samej Fundacji. Jeżeli wypowiadam się w tych nagraniach, są to wypowiedzi oparte o moje zrozumienie, osobiste doświadczenie, co nie znaczy, że MT Keshe miał to samo na myśli podczas nauczania. Dziękuję Wam za Waszą interpretację i zachęcam Was do wypowiedzenia jej na tak wiele różnych sposobów podczas tego spotkania. Dobrze, moi drodzy, witam Was ponownie. Dziękuję, że jesteście i że jesteście obecni tutaj podczas z tego spotkania, jak i później będziecie obecni, kiedy będziecie to oglądać. Dziękuję Wam bardzo. Dzisiaj na tapetę bierzemy 589 warsztat. Będzie on do czytania, w którym głównym wątkiem przewodnim, można tak powiedzieć, jest podróżowanie z napędem plazmatycznym w oparciu o technologię Keshe Foundation. Dzisiaj jest niedziela, 18 maja 2025. Akurat z pewnością też przypadkowo bardzo ważny dzień dzisiaj dla społeczeństwa polskiego, także życzymy wszystkim wszystkiego najlepszego i tego, aby ten dzień stał się początkiem nowego na wiele różnych sposobów. Nie przedłużając, zapraszam do lektury, bo jest bardzo ciekawa, jak zwykle, bardzo skondensowana. Dzisiaj sobie polecimy gdzieś około 1,5 godziny, może z małą przerwą na to, żeby sobie gdzieś tam 5 minut ogarnąć coś, żeby też rozprostować kości i nie być zmuszonym do czytania 1,5 godziny w jednym kawałku. Zapraszam.
Dobry wieczór.
Thank you very much. As I say, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this is Knowledge Seekers from the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back to the city of Beijing. We are here to celebrate the public presentation of the technology. This is not a conference. This is openly opening the technology on the banner of the Keshe Foundation, what we call financial arms of market cooperation. It will be a breakthrough for us, as you will hear in the process of the next few days, major breakthroughs, disclosures, and those of you who be in the city of Beijing to see the what we call the exhibition. And if you are one of those lucky ones, you'll walk away with a spoon of gold or rare earth materials, which is the beginning of the change of the Industrial Revolution. Up to now, we mined, we killed for it. Even today, 3 nations which have broke away from being exploited for the gold and uranium in Africa, as we hear the president of France has called. He said, can we have our military base back? He says, do you have a military base in Canada, in America, and wherever else you are friendly with? So we've seen the abuse of the material. And one of the major things that we will display in this exhibition is production of materials. So the system we show is absolutely obsolete, which means the technology has passed this point. Our production of material, the technology we've achieved is far past this technology. And in a way, we are showing a dinosaur structure in the exhibition, but there still is a massive breakthrough innovation in science and technology. In this system, hidden within it is part of the structure of what we call the time travel. I'll explain this in the future, what it means. And on the other hand, communication systems will be displayed. Scientists from Beijing Space University, people from military factories and some other nations, and diplomats will attend. This presentation is a very unusual. It's not that anybody can walk in. It's been set behind the window of one of the most prestigious hotels in the city of Beijing. This is the place where the One Belt, One Road Silk conference was held last year. And this is a very common place for His Excellency President Xi of China to attend conferences in Beijing. It's across the diplomatic corps, and it's well placed, and we know knowledge seekers who are coming. You are given numbers, and according to the numbers you're given, you go through the thing to see. It's a very small space for exhibition, but very powerful, what we call delivery of technologies. The communication system will be shown, and it's there for the test by the engineers and scientists for the zero-time communication. It looks like a headphones you have, but it's different from what you see. And at the same time, for the first time, we connect for the scientists to connect to the center where the nature system, which has no dynamic system in it, which will create lift, motion, atmosphere, material, gas, energy, gases, and everything else in one system. System is about the size of a football, and it's the first time we're opening it. We expect massive announcements during the conference. You have to understand, this exhibition, more than a conference, there's an extra room somewhere that the knowledge seekers can get together, another floor of the hotel, and is in a way putting the technology into the industrial revolution of the time to come. The changes will be massive, and at the same time, we are part of a structure of the market cooperation of the United States in the stock, what we call in the market. The presentation is not by Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation, MT Keshe, have given a license to market to literally bring the technology on the financial arm of our work into the, what we call, into the world of business and science and technology. There will be further announcements will be made, which has to go through the system of the, what we call OTC, and that will be the way it's set up. We have to announce as a corporation what we do. We cannot announce it here, but you hear it in the coming days. Well, the most important thing for us is to show the power of the technology, and at the same time, the whole process of the production of materials, and with it, the fields and interaction of the other systems which we have set up, will be live shown on the same Zoom number as you are connecting today. We have made facility for 1,000 people to join across the world, and if need be, we increase the numbers. So the Zoom number which you have today, you are joined the Keshe Foundation Zoom sessions, will be a public Zoom number for everyone to be able to join. The whole process of production of material will be live broadcasted, and we know many scientific organizations we have informed will watch and monitor. If you have access to any platforms like X and the rest, make it public. Put it in as many places as you can, and the production of material will be shown live. As I said, this technology for us is absolutely obsolete. It's past its date, but is still more advanced than many nations. At the same time, as we announced this conference, we have been informed that the Iranian government has started what we call explaining the use of the technology as a cold plasma. This is to do with the Iranian government and nothing to do with Keshe Foundation or market cooperation. It is them confirming the correctness of the technology, and technology being originally tested and developed. Please understand that the exhibition is part of the market cooperation and not the Keshe Foundation. At the same time, we have to carry on developing, and we'll carry on teaching. And I thank all you knowledge seekers who have made it possible for the technology to become open so widely that we can demonstrate it in public. Some of you cannot get into the hotel. You can see it from outside. It's on the open window. And I hope this brings us to the next step of the development. Please, if you join to come to the exhibition, understand that the Intercontinental Hotel has never allowed this area or this floor to be used for exhibition. And this is out of the respect for the Keshe technology and the work we've done for the Chinese community in this country. It had to be approved by the people who are in charge, and it was approved within 2 days. It's unusual to hold such a presentation. They have moved a lot of things for us to be in this position. So please, if you cannot get in, just stare as a window, watch it, enjoy it, and celebrate it. Going back to the teaching. As we discussed last week regarding the creation of time. Creation of time is one of the most fundamental points in the life of every man. At the time when we finish time on this planet in the physical life, another time, in another time, place, position, and the strength of the soul will start for the journey, for the life of the soul. So, end of one time is the beginning of the other. Then, if you understood the whole structure of the time, creation of time, the strength of the soul of the man dictates the shape of the man, and it dictates the position of the man in the dimension of the soul once the time and the physical time is changed. When you don't have, you're carrying so much soul with you, you kill thousands of people, you have burden of it. You haven't given the strength, but you're loaded with it. The position and the position moves away from the Creator. The more perfect life you lived, you're more closer to the central energy. The closer you live, your position to the Creator. It's not that what I load will bring me closeness. That what you load, it makes you heavy. And that heaviness, weaker strength, positions you further. In what shape you appear, it's the shape of the creation, the place and the possession. And then, at that point, your time starts. This is why when they tell you the universe is 4 billion years and 13 billion years, it's just a joke. As the time is on the point of the manifestation, not from the point of observation of manifestation. Which means it goes back to the essence of the beginning. When you're alive on this planet, what you gather dictates the strength of that soul, which that dictates the position and the place that you'll manifest yourself and where the time starts. In the structure of the understanding of the totality, and I'm sure you will see in the structure of the dimensions of the teaching of the past, what we have always shown and what we have always been has been that we understand the totality of the structure. What does this mean? This means that we need to be aware of the whole structure. What we taught you from the beginning, when you joined the star formation, the creation of the space, what we call the place, the position, dictates how you will create that time. If we know the power of more or less the place, if we can create the position and a position, then any of these two will give us the position of time. You want to be on Earth and you want to be a human, but your soul has the strength of, let's say, so many Teslas, as you understand it. We will introduce a new, what we call measurement tool for the plasmatic magnetic field of cosmic rays, because what we have as a Tesla does not work. I'll explain this, and those of you who were with us some 10, 12 years ago on the systems which we developed for detection of the fields which we measured, this was already set up to measure the time, to measure the space. So if we understand the measure of the plasmatic Tesla, what I call, then we understand how we can create, we know what place our soul will possess, will be the position of, and in what shape we manifest. Creation of the place and position will totally and in its structure depends on the strength of the position. And that position, plasmatic position, will create the condition of the plasmatic of the position and the place. And all three can be replicated in the structure of a system, which means the knowledge of the man is at the point where he can create the magnetic field of the place, magnetic field of the position, and a magnetic field of possession. And the time is dictated. But the time itself has a characteristics that if you can create the time, you can reach in any dimension. As the time is created from the interaction of the three. In a coming time, in the teachings which will go more in depth, as I said, you will understand more. As I explained last week, we started with nanoquoting. Then we taught you about the ganses. Then we brought you with the dynamic systems. Then we brought you to the dimension of the soul. And now it's time. And in a very simple way, you will come to understand that the time for the creator is always zero time. Which means it never existed, it shall not exist, unless the fields of it bringing the position, the place, and the possession. There is no beginning, there is no end. And in the structure of the creation of time, the possession will play a main factor, which is the time when your soul leaves the physicality and leads to the creation of the new time, a new place, and a new position. Then, if you understood this, and you can create the magnetic field of the position and the place while you have the position, and you can change any of the other two, you create a new time. Which means you can go forward in changing, in understanding what will be the, what I call the position of you with this soul, this magnetic field. Today, the scientists can measure by electric current within the brain, and they tell us this is the position of the emotion, this is a position of control of this and that in the body of the man through the physical structure of the brain of the man. But when the science moves further on and understand that the brain itself is creator of the magnetic field in the plasmatic cosmic ray, then they understand what it needed to hold the soul within. And with that measurement, man can decide the position and the time and the place. So, as we call it, there is no time travel, but we can travel in time, which means we are the creator of it. Understanding of the what we call the position, which is the soul of the man in the future, will be measurable. because there's a technique in measuring it. And once you measured it, you can create the gravitational magnetic field of the, let's say, New York, and then you decide, I want to manifest as a dog. We know to manifest as a dog, the amino acid of the field of that animal has a specific characteristics, which we can create all three, and then the time is zero. The way your soul travels, leaves the body behind and manifests in another position when it reaches a certain magnetic field strength, you do the same, but the place and the position is already booked in. You just change the field strength. And we have told you in a teaching in the past how to change the position. It's very easy if you remember. Then when you arrive in New York, you start the time. You can never be in the wrong place. On the science of today, we created GPS positioning, but in this game, we created time positioning, which is a totally different science and different technology, and connects directly to the line of the creation. It's as another star is created. This is why we hear in the world of present science of cosmology, they tell us millions of stars are in the galaxy and millions are created every day. If you go back to my teaching, one of the first things which I always said in the teaching, very original teaching, I said, if so many millions of stars every day are created, universe, it must have a principle. So I make one too, because I now understand the process of creation. When I make one, is my soul, is my identity, is what I possess within. To create time is a totally different ball game. But if you can travel in time and you can create a position and you have the other two fixed, you can travel the time. Can you go backwards? In a physical dimension, you cannot go backwards, because if you look at it, I explained many times, the earth is round and rotates at a given speed. Your image is scattered, and the more time, the more further it goes. You can go back in time, but this time you see the interaction of the fields of the plasmatic, what we call a field strength. So then can you change something that you will not be in this position? If the others allow, you can do. Those who they will be affected by change in the field strength of you. I was born, I'm not happy with having 2 legs, I want 3 legs. Can you go back in time and give yourself 3 legs? Or can I see, I could have stopped this disease to happen in me if I could go back to correct the genetic modification, what we call correct my genes that are be perfect, that I don't have this disease. These now become possible, but it needs a lot of understanding by changing what field strength you change. And if you understood this, with your behavior, how you take what you do, you change the place of your manifestation of your soul on departing, on finishing the timeline in a physical dimension. This is why we always say, always in all the teachings, what you carry and the field strength of the soul has preset position. And then it has preset possession of the place. So in a way, by understanding the field strength of the possession, you know where your place is. The further space or closer space to the creator, to the zero time of creation, because then you radiate out. If you understand this, it's very simple. What does this mean? It means if you get to the position of the center, what we call the soul of the creator, when you get closer or you get further, this is what they call the hell, and this is what they call the heaven. is the lover's game with the Creator. When you love, you become the same as it, so you come closer to be to your lover. And now you understand, when you do a crime, you have more souls to carry. This is what I said, those who make arms. And it's not just the guy who shoots the gun, the one who made the gun, the powder, the one who carried it, the one who designed it, the one who benefited by it, all getting loaded on. If mankind understands this, if mankind understands the game of the time and the place, no man will create not even a single gun, and not a single bullet. And this is what has been understood by universal community, and man needs to understand. In the process of creation, the strength of the field, the soul of the man, at the point of departure, dictates which place it will take in space. The more you killed, the heavier backpack, the further distance you have to get to the Creator. And that's heaven, because you got a long way, long journey to make it down. The suffering of this emotion of the soul in being away from the lover is a bigger punishment than the fires of hell. Those of you who've been in love, you understand exactly what it means. The further you are from the one you love, the more you suffer and yearn to be to, and do everything to get to that point. The whole process of creation of time is the essence of the creation. And the time is made by man, as time does not exist in the universe. Very simple. You have an earth time, you have a solar time, you have the galaxy time, you have the universe time, and then you have a unicos time. The further you go in, the longer the time becomes. The structure of the creation of time comes from interaction of the fields. There is a key to bring that time, and there is a key in understanding what we call the position, and the place. This is what I said. Now you might understand. The time will come that will manifest Christ in front of you. Because we know the field, the strength of the Jerusalem. We know the shape of the man. All we need is to create the plasmatic magnetic field, the strength of the soul. Time will be zero, and according to whoever watches at any time will see the Christ. It's not magic. Part of this technology will be shown in the exhibition in Beijing. You will understand when you arrive, and some of you will feel it. Some of you will cross behind a window, watch your body, watch your clothes, and understand how I've been showered with the love of the Creator. And if you get the dust of gold on you, carry it with pride. You've been touched by the field of the creation. The beauty of it is that glass cannot stop. That glass cannot be a barrier between the field of the creation and the soul of the man beyond it. The purpose of the exhibition is not to show the man, but is to enlighten the humanity. Enlightenment is part of the structure of the what we call possession. When you enter, when you see the structure of the setup, don't think of a flying system. Understand the evolution in time. Understand the evolution in enlightenment. Time, place, position, and position all will create a time. That time is the time of enlightenment. That's the time when the 0 point starts. Because before that, there was no knowledge. After that, there is a knowledge. And that's the time of enlightenment. And that time of enlightenment is a very, very rare point. And that's the time when the change comes. I hope next few weeks, as we go more in detail, for you to understand the essence of time, not the system of time, then you understand how to create the field strength within the position to create the dimension of the place and position. The position is the most important factor because we can change it by our behavior, by our attitude, by us not destroying, not what I call destruction of ourselves by ourselves, is the worst thing ever done in a man when it's the self damage, self inflicting. And man does that with every breath he takes, with every spoon he puts in his mouth, and with every action of the emotion. If you think of it, I made man in the image of myself, and man is not my image. Image is the dimension of the soul. I do not kill, I do not destroy, but how can the man to be my image? In truth, is the soul of the man which is my image, and not his physicality. The place and the position are wrong. If you change the position, you can change the place, and with it, you can change. If you listen to the intro, I think you have a better message than what the teaching of today is. Every man can change his position during their life on this planet. We go for a small break and we come back and try to answer as much questions as possible. Understand that we are in Beijing and it's around about 1 o'clock in the morning, and hopefully we see many of you in the exhibition, especially the Chinese friends. And if you don't get a chance, just be patient. Rick, can you take us through a break and become?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I thought I'd play maybe the vertical.
Dobrze, moi drodzy, to my też sobie zrobimy z jakieś 3 minuty przerwy, żeby każdy mógł sobie spokojnie iść, chwycić ewentualnie coś do picia albo coś jeszcze załatwić. I za 3 minuty zaczniemy kolejne pół godziny i na tym skończymy. No dobrze, moi kochani, to zapraszam na kolejną część.
Welcome back to our 589th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 8th, 2025. And I believe Mr. Keshe will be ready to answer questions after probably speaking about something or another he would like to talk about. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, no, there's not much to talk about. I think we did talking this time at the beginning. If there are any questions, we try to answer and try to keep it short today. And hopefully we see where we can do what we can do with it.
All right. Well, let's begin with a question from the Brazilian community in our Q&A. And in the theme of being simple, it's a simple question, and it goes like this. Mr. Keshe, I'm Arthur. I'm 11 years old, and I'd like to know how dark matter works.
If you understood the teaching, if you ever been around, you're too young to be, if you go back to, dark matter is a position dependent and a magnetic field strength dependent. What is dark to you is not dark to me if I'm on a different field of strength. In a way, black hole doesn't exist. It looks black, and the field of strength of our what we call line of vision, field of strength. So dark matter is the what we call imagination of the man, that because he cannot see, or in a way is there, is dark because of the absorption of the light in that field of strength. I'll show you something very interesting. If I find it, takes me a few seconds. I have to go through some work, and then I'm sure in the next few days you will see this very clearly as in the exhibition. Camera is set to just look at the table, and suddenly, as you see, a dark matter appears, and then it changes its color to gold. And it's dark because it's carbon 14, carbon 16, and then it cocoons itself and it changes by energy, and you will see it as gold or another matter. This is what we call point of strength of the observation of the observer, what you observe and what it looks to you, which brings that change, that acceptance and observation. Dark matter doesn't exist. If I have a different magnetic field strength, that matter will not be dark with me or to me. I'm trying to show you something which very interesting, you will see. I have to check that we are in the correct dimension. Cannot play a video. Let me see if I can play it so I can bring it out in the other dimension for you to see. Okay. I have to go back. Just 1 second, bear with me. You will understand this very.
I changed a setting, Mr. Keshe, that might enable your video. I'm not sure if that works or not.
Pardon?
I changed a setting that might enable your video if you're trying to play your camera. Maybe that was what was blocking it, I'm thinking.
Oh, maybe. Let me just go back and try to, because it's what it is. The matter appears as dark, and the same matter, as it changes its magnetic field, as the inertia of the planet Earth interacts with it, it changes to matter, and you see it as gold. And this is part of what we all say. Even in the book, I refer to the dark matter, but dark matter is a matter dark, and if I change my field strength, it will not be dark anymore. Then it manifests itself because I change what they call the position. The place is the same, it's in the same spot, but as the position changes, which means the magnetic field of the Earth interacts, then you see what you call as dark matter. I want to show you this. This is very important. If you see it, you see on the left side here, you see mixture of dark matter. As it changes, you see it in different color. As it changes, you see this different color. It starts a life in 1, and then it becomes 2, it becomes 3. As knowledge seekers, this should be very easy for you to understand, because you make a gas is copper color today, tomorrow is black, the other day is another color. As the color changes, it's the same black. Why does it become green the next time? Because it's magnetic field of the environment which changes its color. Now we understand this. That's why the position is dependent on the place. And that's, for example, we say don't put material, what you call it, your ganses near a metal or something else. Put it in an open environment. Metallic surfaces like aluminium, what you call copper and the rest, absorb more, and it changes color. And you see this. This is a production of materials in 3 stages when it's gathered. These, which are in number 1, will change to this, and then this will change into that. Because as the environment affects it, and then it brings a new dimension. And what I call, let me share with you something else. If I can go back into it, makes it much easier in that respect, because let me see if I get what I'm looking for. This makes it much easier to understand. The same is with us in space. The black hole, black to us, but in fact is the sun, is the source of energy. It's our point of observation which gives us the manifestation of black. Dark matter don't exist. It's just a point of observation on what fields is absorbing from the environment. If the environment gives it more, then it manifests itself as different entity. And that's how it changes from dark matter suddenly into what we call the matter manifestation of whatever it could be. This is a beautiful example of it. If you understand it, I try to bring it out for you to see, and then you understand how the game of creation works. You see, if I go back, it starts as a dot. It's a dark matter. But as the environment affects it, those dark materials becomes the material as you see. This is why if you stand, and this is the final version of it, all the dark material have changed. Feel the strength you have on your hand gold. But you have to create that condition. And as you see, another one next to it is in the process going through. Because now this condition, environment, affects all these, and then they all become little gold dusts. This is what we call in the world of science, if you understand it, energy. This is how cancers grow. Change the environment, it's the same field energy. So you change the position or you change the place, and then you get the position. The same dark matter, it just changes into manifestation of the matter by change field strength. Any other question?
Well, we had a question from Mike that's related. He says, well, first he says, thank you, Mr. Keshe, and I'm elated about what's to come in a few days. Is the gold color the color that's related to the creator?
Can you repeat?
Is the gold color a color that's related to the creator?
No, gold is another spectrum of two other different field of strength there. The color of the gold is different.
Perhaps the black would be closer to the creator.
Actually, if you think of it, the white is the right color.
Okay. Or we've talked about the clear light at one point as well. Maybe that's.
This is what we call the white light, not the white as a color.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever see aura, those who have a white aura are those who reflect the light of the Creator. We don't see with many. When knowledge expands and the science of the knowledge of the what we call plasmatic fields deepens, from the color of the soul, you can more or less know the destination of the soul. And that color exists in the man's aura today. but the scientists do not know how to interpret it. Messengers, at the time of the receiving the message, their aura becomes white. Thereon, the emotion of the physicality taints the color. Any other?
We have a question from Buse Michael, or Michael Buse. I'm still not clear on that name, but in German and translated goes, Mr. Keshe, could you please give us an update on the current status of the process in which humans act as living satellites in the plasma transmutation processes? How advanced is this process, and what steps are still required to implement it?
Read the question again.
Hey, Mr. Keshe, could you please give us an update on the current status of the process in which humans act as living satellites in the plasma transmutation processes? How advanced is this process, and what steps are still required to implement it?
We are very, very close to call upon those of you who became satellite. Part of this test was carried out 2 days ago as part of the transmutation set. We're still waiting for all the knowledge seekers who participated in that test to send us their, what they call, report is the wrong thing, but what they went through. And as we increase the numbers, the satellites, like the captains, come into game. And we are about a few months away. We received some of the process, some of the knowledge seekers who were in that session, but we're looking for more to come in, and we had conditions that it's very interesting to see what it comes. If you're not familiar, what happened is the previous week we had 7 people going through what we call evolution of understanding, but in its what we call the soul level. Then they became the captains, and people who were part of the monthly sessions, they had a choice to choose a captain who they trust to give their souls to take them. And in that process, it was very interesting. We have had this group with us for some time, months, over years, and we always had a problem. Where we could see somebody panics and the whole thing crashes, and the rest of the other souls, and they have a good time for a few minutes ago. This time, they didn't have to panic because they already chose. They were given a list of captains, and they could choose the captain. And we didn't see any clashes. There was no clashes. We saw enlightenment once, but it was very interesting how the soul very rapidly moved in dimension of physicality, and the soul of physicality literally in the right line stayed all the time to make sure that the soul transit. And we saw how the soul moved into the dimension of the physicality, into the positive line, which is the transmutation. We never had this before. And this shows us, instead of literally, it's like getting on a plane, instead of training 150 people to become a pilot and fly for themselves to a destination, we train 1 pilot and 150 are passengers, and you all get to the destination. And this was very, very clear in the test we did on Tuesday of this week with 7 captains. And then when we increase the numbers, satellites come in. Dimension, and in this training or going through the process of the satellites, and then the captains, and then the passengers, then it comes the what we call the enlightened. Then satellites have got a very big part to play with this. It's the connection. Then, as the satellites are between the connection between the soul of the man and the captain, universal councils are between the humanity and the universal community. You feel it when we call upon you to come in, and then you are there. Either way, you become semi-pilots, you become this. And this week's data was the most amazing data we've seen, and it made our life much easier. We'll never try again what I call mass transmutation, as we've done for what do you call it, past year or over a year, because somebody panicked and everything had to restart and everything else. And this has shown us, in a way, it's a preparation for the next step to come in what we call the process of the technological development. It was very, very interesting what we saw in the past session in the last week.
Are there any images you'd be willing to show, Mr. Keshe?
Trying to go, but I saw something else which I call it goes back to the previous one. I'll do this and then I'll go and get that one because it's very interesting. You see here, if you see the picture, what we're talking about matters, you see how little dots of gold, you see, these are all the black materials. And then when the field changes, that's what you see, one piece. All come together. And this is what you see at pieces of it. And it's very interesting when you touch this material, it gets absorbed to the body, but if you know how to change it, even this block piece would absorb to the body, even it is gold. It needs a process to go through to become. And this is what it's the dark matter becoming a matter. So it's always a matter, it's just a point of observation and environmental field strength. I have to go through another session, another part to show you something very interesting about last week's session, as we discussed with that I can share with you. One point, we see different images of literally transmutation, and how I have to find it. There's a very interesting picture how there's in one point there is no connection to the soul of the universe. It's just the captains who are taking, and I have to find it. I have to find it because we've got so many pictures. Just give me a chance. I wasn't expecting to show you this. There's one of the pictures. If I see it, I'll come back to it. Let me see if I see it. I'll put it out and you see. So many pictures, which I think is amazing to see. Yes, I see one. So you. These are from different conditions. Don't forget that we dictate, we control everything in the back. In the background, we change things which you have no idea, you are not aware of, and then we play our game in adding to the knowledge. This is the most interesting one. Okay, let me come back to you on the zone that I can share these pictures with you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, these three pictures, which I show you now, are extremely interesting, which shows in transmutation. There's a number of these pictures which I will show you. And these are from different positions and records of what we have. If you notice this one, this is one of the most amazing things which, if you were with us and if you understand it, we always receive energy to our soul from here. If you've seen the other pictures, we'll show you later on. And we see a lot of scattered energy in dimensional physicality. In creation of this point, what you see is very interesting. The soul has a vertical line and the physicality, solar physicality sits with it. They are traveling, they go to a dimension. But the most interesting part of this is there is no connection to anything else. It's just between the passengers and what we call the captains. There is no external energy at all. There is no connection anywhere here. You see it. It's all in the process of moving. But when you go to the next picture, let me see. Oh, I just received another picture. The guys are busy in the back. When you come to another picture, which is this one, you will see, I have to clean this out for you. Now you see, this is again amazing. If you again understand the process, there is no at all whatsoever connection here with the soul outside. This is, in a way, if you look at it in the red, in a way, is us, we do it ourselves, we transmute ourselves. And you can remember the pictures of before, we never had this. This is isolation. It means we trust the captain. And we haven't had as such failure in the, what I call the last trial. And this has shown us, we move to a new system next time, that many of those can physically actually go through the process. what we call the transmutation. It's getting the trust was the biggest problem. You see it here again in a very fine detail. There is no connection with the soul or the physicality. Everything is on the move. Everything is there to go. No connection. It's the trust you have. And if you look at it, this is a soul area. And one thing interesting is, which shows us our people went through the position of transmutation, is this. This area. This area is the area of transmutation. And you see, souls are sitting in it. Now we have a section which actually there is nothing in these areas except here. So we know people went through it, but how much they believe in what they do and how they go. The captains are strong, nothing can happen. Then you see this. This, when we get souls in this area, when we get the energy in this area, is a position of the transmutation. And you can see it. So people are getting ready. What I call the captains are trusted. So we build this trust more and more. And there's something interesting which we'll show you later on. Have a look at this line here. There's a line here, there's a line here, and these lines appear, which is a direct feed into the transmutation. Both on a one level field strength, which means the field strength of soul is fixed, and one in the dimension of the soul of physicality, which is fixed. So many of, even they felt that when they did something to them as a dream, they already got into a transmutation system. And you see this one here is the best example. We're getting to the point of being able to complete transmutation. And this you see very clearly. Again, the line of the flow. One line, and sitting in this area. The souls have gone into the transmutation. And the soul of physics, we don't see the physicality. There is no physicality, it's all in transition. There is no connection here. There is no connection top or bottom. These are, we understand how we can change our systems, but the beauty with it is that why we see this, for example, and we see this position, is we increase the enlightenment and love we can control, and so it brings a dimension of the trust. I'm a passenger, I don't care how the weather is, the captain is in charge of, he knows. Now we have to get all of them to one place. And in the coming weeks, the sessions will run that we are outsider. The captain decides with the passengers, and then we split the groups into training, trusting, and building up that. Then the passengers become the captains. And we build up gradually the structure of the transmutation. And the satellites are needed for this job. Any other question?
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Keshe. We have an attendee with a hand up here. I think I can pronounce it as Ilonka. And if you
change your screen.
Yes.
Yes, hello. This is Ilonka.
Yes, hello. Could you say where you're from and
Holland.
I'm Ilonka van den Anker, and I'm from the Netherlands.
Holland, yes. Hi, Elanka. How are you?
I am fine, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'm so happy to be here tonight. The time traveling is extremely interesting to me, and I have a question about that. If I manifest in a place and position and then start time, how will then the environment react? Will everything change too? And will people be older or younger depending on where in place and position you manifest?
Yes. But if you get it wrong, you'll manifest yourself among nowhere or amongst other positions which are not familiar to you.
Uh-huh.
And this is gradually we go through it because in the next maybe 3 to 6 months, we will complete as part of this process the creation of time machine. We are going through the first phase of it, and the first phase of it will be shown in on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then we are ready to go into the condition of the what we call time travel or time change in conjunction with transmutation.
Thank you. And may I ask something else then?
Yeah.
If, for example, we are, if you want to bring something that is not here yet, but we know it is already in an energetic state, already there, that you want to manifest, can you bring something that is not yet here? Can you bring it to this time?
Yes. It's like a moisture in the air. You change the temperature and you see as a drop of ice.
Yeah.
We know the technique in the magnetic field strength, yes. That piece of gold which I showed you is part of that process.
I think I see it. Yes, it starts to daunt a little.
Yeah, it's if you look at that piece of gold, it then drop as a piece. It comes as molecules, bit by bit of black, and then it changes to one piece. In the same, when you look at that piece of gold, it's not a block, it's stated. You see hundreds of pieces, black and gold,
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly you see the structure. Many of you see amazing things. We set up the structure setup of the exhibition. It's so amazing, and what will create, you will see, as I said, this is an old system, and a lot of people will try to replicate it. Do not even attempt it. I advise you, you'll run into huge problems. We know what we are doing is not just as it's said, and people think it is. You will see magic of creation. And I have specifically chosen a combination which will bring what I call the completion of the understanding of the technology on the point of what I call not science but technology.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much for your work in Netherlands.
Yes. Well, it's because we love to start that piece of land that we want to draw to us, so that we can build a building there and start teaching the people with everything about the transmutation and have the right space for it.
You have to understand transmutation. There is a big problem with it. And as I explained before, we have a technology is complete.
No dobrze, moi drodzy, to by było mniej więcej na tyle tłumaczenia. Mamy już ponad 1,5 godziny. Nie wiem, jak wasze zdolności do czytania, czy jeszcze są, czy już ich nie ma. Jakieś macie ciekawe sugestie, spostrzeżenia? Ktoś by chciał coś wyrazić? Bardzo zapraszam.
Ciekawie się to wszystko rozwija. Także no, z wielkim zainteresowaniem to obserwuję. Dziękuję.
Pewnie. To ja dziękuję też za pomoc tłumaczenia, bo bez tego nie moglibyśmy dzisiaj wyświetlić tego odcinka między innymi, czyli też bez osób, które gdzieś tam wokół tego się kręcą. Fajnie, Donatka, dzięki bardzo. Ktoś jeszcze chciałby coś dodać? Jeśli nie, moi kochani, to myślę, że na dzisiaj skończymy. Oczywiście nagranie będzie udostępnione na internecie, więc proszę gdzieś tam sobie je wyglądać, jeżeli będziecie chcieli je powtórzyć. A my co? Jak zwykle widzimy się na przestrzeni. Także dzięki wam bardzo za dzisiaj i pozdrawiam. Do następnego.
No dobra.
Dziękuję. Dobranoc.
Dobranoc, dziękuję.